Good afternoon. Happy Wednesday. I am so glad to be here again, and I'm glad you're joining me, whether you're here live now or you catch this show at a later time. And I just have to say, I am so grateful that I get to do this work. Gosh, sometimes I pinch myself that I get to play this role for you, for so many people that it's just really wonderful to be able to bring messages through. And uh, I just have so much gratitude for that. And I've been having so much fun with readings, and even the things that are happening in the readings. It's like, oh, they're evolving, just more and more stuff coming through that even surprises me. And I love that there's still so much wonder, in this work and in this world. And it's just really lovely to be a part of that and to be able to share that with you. So, and I'm just so grateful too for the alignment, energetically, who I'm aligning with, and the questions that are coming forth. And it's like, oh, you know, uh, the guides are really participating, in this expansion for each of you, for me, for the world. And the questions that are coming through are just extraordinary and so helpful to so many people. So, again, I want to thank you for your questions and thank you for being interested and a part of this expansion. Okay, so here we are Wednesday in the wonderful world of Akashic Records. And I'm going to read the Akashic Prayer. We're going to see what the guides have to say. And then, hang on here, this little sidebar thing. I feel like I need somebody to run my YouTube thing over here. So I can't do both technology and this at the same time. But anyway, I'm kidding. Let's see what the guides have to say, whatever message they want to bring forth, and we'll jump into a couple of questions and go from there. So I'm taking a deep breath because there's a lot happening. And, I've personally been really, and I'm sure many of you too, what's going on in Texas, what's happened in Texas, what's still happening in Texas. And again, just in California, and I mean, all over, really, all over. Yeah, my heart just really hurts. As a human, my heart just really hurts for those families in Texas. And it's hard to wrap our human minds around that yet. Anyway, we'll see if the guides have something to say about that today. Maybe, maybe not. We're just going to see where we go. Okay. All right. And if you like, close your eyes, let yourself relax, take some deep breaths, let yourself be here, be present while I read the prayer, and then let's just see what happens. Okay. I ask God if He will have a shield of love and truth around you permanently, so only God's love and truth will exist between you and me. I allow the masters, teachers, and loved ones of you to channel through me out of whatever realm to say whatever they wish. I ask the permission of the Lords of the Akashic Records, so I'm able to look into the records of you and remove whatever information I'm allowed. Okay. Okay. So the guides want to, they're reminding me that they began last week's talk with showing me all of the guidance that's surrounding the world, all of the spirit beings that are surrounding the world, the globe, so to speak, and how there is so much they're supporting and assisting. And they're also reminding me of that image of the divine beings touching all the different souls here on the planet at the heart. You know, some they said would be like a reset button, like the heart would have an opportunity to start over. In that meant there would be some transitioning. They also said that some hearts are cracking wide open. They would be suffering just that kind of whatever grief, loss, these tragedies tend to break hearts wide open, which puts them on a whole different trajectory of a journey. And for any of you traveling this lifetime with grief as your fuel, you know what that means. And when we are grieving, when we are really hurting, when we've been through something so traumatic, and losing a child is just one of the, if not the greatest loss that can occur, that one soul can experience. That kind of grief, when that becomes a part of the experience, it changes everything. Life will never be the same again. And how a person chooses to be here in that grief is very defining. It's part of that soul's journey. And so they're reminding me that that is happening. And so they said, for example, the concern, the compassion that I'm having, you know, for these stories, for these families, for these people, it has touched me in a way to spread compassionate energy, so to speak, to be able to talk about, you know, the suffering, the pain, and also to be able to look at it from that higher perspective and offer that. They said there's more to come with that higher perspective, yet not now. It is not the appropriate time for that. Yet there is always a higher perspective when looking at such tragic events. And they would invite you to reach for your own. In the meantime, there is always more going on than we understand with our hearts and our minds, so to speak. There's always more going on. And there are so many souls that agree to have a collective experience, and we must remember that too. And they know that in that collective experience, impact really happens. It's when these stories are big, they're to move mountains of some sort, and they want us to understand that too. So these are very highly enlightened being and souls that have agreed to go through some of these stories, whether transition or here, and they want us to understand that too. Doesn't mean we can't pray for them, pray for their evolution, pray for their peace and understanding, pray for whatever comes to mind. Allow that to be a part of your experience, bringing that prayer forth, if that makes sense. Whew, okay. Aside from that, they want to just get down to a couple little things about being human. And they said, for those of us that are still here, we are here to experience so many emotions, all the emotions on that emotional scale. And then being able to choose where we want to hang out and to realize we're in control of how we feel. And, you know, that first 90 seconds of reaction is kind of automated. And then it's after that, take that breath and decide how you want to feel, how you want to be here, and what feels right to you. What does that wise higher self, you know, feel to you? They are also saying that for those of us still here, to really take care of our bodies. And they would invite you to be moving your body, doing something for your body every day of the week. And that could be whether it's, going for a walk for 30 minutes, or maybe it's even 10 minutes down the street and 10 minutes back, or maybe it is using a dry brush on your body. Maybe it is lifting weights. Maybe it's, taking a yoga class. There's so many things. And then there's so many things you can do something different every day. For those that need that variety, some work better with routine and consistency. They said just to appreciate your body, and the next time you walk by that mirror, give yourself a little nod, give yourself a little wink, and really appreciate your body is your design. So remember this: when you are in that life between lives and you were designing your time here, you chose your eye color, your hair color, your body type, you chose your birthday. Oh gosh, it's so interesting. Speaking about birthdays, I did a reading yesterday for a woman and I checked in on her children for her. And I said, oh, one of her daughters, I said, she's just focused on new baby energy right now. That's all I can get. She's ready for that new baby, or that new baby energy is where her mind is. And she said, well, she just miscarried. She was 2 months along. She just miscarried about 4 days ago. And so she was pretty, distraught by that, of course, and wasn't her first miscarriage. Anyway, what came through, though, was this little baby. This one is coming in. There's not a doubt, yet it wanted to have a different birthday. And it wanted to come in like a June, I think it was a July birthday, June birthday. Anyway, and so it decided to wait because her father, my client's husband, had died, and his birthday's in June. And this little baby told me it wanted to come in and have a kind of signature, like that it would be even more special. So I'm telling you, we design our birthdays, even the time we come in, and we really create this entire blueprint of the parents we come into, the house we grow up in, the circumstances that we're born into, geographically. There's so much that we design. And so the guides would have you just take a moment and really acknowledge yourself as a creator, and that you design this life. And if you don't like what you're looking at, it's never too late to alter the design from this point forward. So, and that's part of the story too. So we have more power than, we know. And the guides would like for everyone to really rest in that idea of you being your just great creator, and just have appreciation for the body that you designed for yourself. And no matter what stage of life you're in, it's like part of your journey is seeing what this body would do at this age, this age, this age, and how you wanted to be in this body at this age, this age, this age. And they said the quickest way to change, and they say this often, is to appreciate, appreciate, appreciate. And to be open what your soul is understanding. So, hang on here. Let's see if there's anything else. Hey, you guys. Great to see you. All right, let's see. I'm seeing what else they have that they might want to bring through for all of us. Hold on here. Nope, they're saying appreciation for the body, movement in the body. They said can do wonders for life. when we take care of our bodies, we feel it increases our self-worth and our self-esteem, they said. And so they said to just know that that's like a little bonus. When you take care of your body, when you do things for yourself, it just raises your vibration. That's a good way to put it. And it raises your love for yourself, whether that's conscious or unconscious. It raises that self-worth, conscious or unconscious. And they also said that to give others compliments. For example, not make anything up, be genuine, of course. Yet if you are in line at the grocery store, perfect example, and the person ringing you up has beautiful eyes or a lovely smile or a really pleasant voice, tell them. They said tell them. And it is those little gifts. It's like, because that person chose that eye color, that smile, that tone of voice. And if something really resonates for you, say it, tell them. They said be open with that, be free with that, and watch what happens. You know, that's funny. I find myself, I'm such an observer, and I do find myself sometimes thinking, oh, she's got such a great voice. But I think it in my head, and it takes me a minute before I'm like, oh, I should tell her. So I'll make a much more conscious effort to do that. So if you're like me and you're a great observer and you see things like that, to make that little connection to tell people. Okay, that I am going to get into a couple questions here. Let me get to. Okay. All right, this is an employment question. Okay. My daughter was laid off in March. She's been diligently applying in her current field of work. As time goes on, she's wondering if she needs to expand the focus on a different type of work job. Any guidance as to next steps and time frame is most appreciated. And then she says, for herself, I am a self-employed traveling teacher. Class setup is physical with far distances to drive. I'm older and see a pivot is required in the near future. Done some Zoom, but people enjoy in person, thinking of YouTube, and I'm very open to suggestions from the guides as to where to go from here, as long as it's not hours in the car. I get that. Okay, so let's see. For your daughter in March. Okay, just making sure. Gosh, what a lot of people are experiencing that, those layoffs. So I am hearing, and just this is going to be an answer for, on the whole, some people are being asked to be redirected, to open up to more, to reach for that expansion, to add to the toolbox kind of thing, study something else, or think out of the box in how to be here. And some are meant to keep applying, whether that's here or abroad even. Some are meant to band together with other members that were laid off and create new companies. So there's a lot happening here. And for your daughter, it feels like there's a group of people that she's still connected with, that may be something to be open to starting something with a group of people in that field, I would say. Now, of course, I know, how does the funding and all of that happen? Yet I am hearing that old, if you build it, they will come kind of thing, that there are people out there that don't have the technical skill, but they have the financial means. So be open to that. I would say this is a real creative time for your daughter, and to lean into that. Like, how does she see kind of a hole in the system that needs to be filled? Define that need, what's needed, and how can she in this group of people satisfy that need? Does that make sense? So often Businesses start because they see a need, and this business brings a solution. So I would say your daughter's kind of in that pocket of it and should be open to being creative in that way. So then for you, okay. So yeah, I'm hearing, I'm not seeing traveling. I'm not seeing uh, being on the road, things like that. I am hearing it's time to create more of an online presence. So whether that's YouTube, whether that's teaching courses through some of the online school communities, and there's so many different things out there. So, but I am hearing yes for you too. It's a time to be creative. Might even add some different course material than you're used to. And I'm not even sure if there's an international flair to yours as well, like doing something with the international students. So, okay. All right. So hopefully that is helpful. Okay, here's another one. Okay, my query is, will my newest endeavor as a pianist, accompanist, bode well for the future of this church? I'm not remotely religious, however, music, classical piano, and a sense of community is important to me. I'm hoping to incorporate my education, experience, and talents so that it might reach higher levels of evolution amongst humanity at this juncture. Okay. Well, I'm hearing the church is the place to be for now for you, because it feels like it's kind of keeps you in the energy of playing and being in that environment, the music around you, and having the opportunity to play. I'm not sure if I would say how long you'll stay there. Um, a year, maybe two, and that two actually feels far, or a lot to me. So I'm not sure what's happening there, whether it's the church or whether you just find another venue. So I'm kind of, I get so curious how the questions line up. Like it's really on purpose, one right after the other, because the guides are telling me for you too, it's time to be creative and not just creating music and playing music, at the church. Yet, can you do your own YouTube? Like 15 minutes of uh, a classical break during the middle of the day kind of thing? Is there something you can do? A sense of community in the physical is one thing, sense of community online is another thing. So it might be something for you to be open to as well, thinking out of the box and uh, expanding your exposure, like who you're playing for and what you're playing. And gosh, just have some fun with it, really. If you have a favorite composer you like to play because it's just so uplifting, that would be fun to share. And that would be just a great little, it could be a 2-minute YouTube, a 5-minute YouTube, who knows? But be open to what might happen for you in that as well. Okay. All right, let's see. So how are you guys? Nice to see you online here. I'm going to check in here and see if we got any questions. Y'all are submitting live. So give me 1 second to look at these. Okay. I am on a break from my job and I do not want to return in a month. How does my energy naturally want to generate and attract wealth at this stage of my life or monetize anything? Okay. Gosh, that seems to be a very big question. I'll be honest. Um, the guides are showing me, they said to remember, and they're glad you asked this because everybody needs to hear this, is that money for most people, and some people money is a part of their soul contract to have different experiences. Yet for most people, money represents the energy of joy. And that's why they say when you do what you love, the money will flow, the money will come. And that is so true. And at the same time, once the money starts coming, it's like, ooh, then how do you manage that money? What's your relationship with money once you have it? And that brings in that whole value, respect, and self-worth, all that kind of stuff. That's loaded. There's so much stuff around money to work with. Anyway, aside from that, they said, think of joy, think of joy. And when I ask about going back to your job, I do see an X there, like that's not where your joy is, and they would not advise you to go back. Um, unless you just needed the safety and security until something came along. I mean, that would just be the wise thing to do as far as taking care of yourself, an adult kind of thing to do, is what they're saying. Yet, it also feels like there's something you could do, almost like a sidestep, whether it's just a random job, part-time, I can't quite tell, of being in an environment that you just love being in. And it almost feels like it's just like completely switching gears, but being in an environment you love. And from there, something is going to shift. So I would say there's a little side step you're going to take into another job. Doesn't feel major, doesn't feel... and I can't really tell, but I wouldn't say it's like... it just feels like more like this would just be fun. This would just be fun. And that's what they said to reach for, is reach for a little fun in that next place. Don't worry about the money. Don't worry about, any of that. Reach for the fun, because they said that you need more of in your life. And from there is where the flow really starts to happen. You have to feel better about being here and have something to look forward to, and take the fear of, how is this going to serve me in the future? They said, just put that on the shelf for a little while, just a little while. It's not like you're putting your head in the sand, but you're just allowing yourself to be here, how you want to be here for just a little bit. And from there, they said the energy will shift and you'll find yourself in a different flow and with a new trajectory in front of you. So I know that's scary, yet it would be nice to get that permission, wouldn't it, to do. Okay, here. I'm seeking understanding in a bachelor's degree focus that I'd like to start this year, thinking about computer science or programming. Okay, do the guides have any thoughts to share? Wow, that's really interesting. I was reading an article the other day that said, like computer engineering, programming, a lot of those college courses have low enrollment, like for the first time ever, and because of the field of AI, and because of the programming AI can do. So it's kind of curious. So let's see here. Is there is there something you could look at with computer science, to understand that language, to I'm not sure here. I would say you're looking in the right direction, but I keep hearing the word repair, so I'm not sure what that means. Build. I can't quite tell what that might mean, but I'm hearing repair, build. So I don't know if that makes sense to you, but I would look at either one of those in the computer industry. One second here. I'm not getting a hit though, but I would say those words will resonate one way or the other with a particular field or direction, if that makes sense. That sounds weird, but hopefully that helps. Okay. Let's see. Okay. I met a woman, Susan, in a store. We said hi, and then we met again in another store 5 minutes later. We chatted nicely and planned to have coffee tomorrow. Did the guide send her to me for friendship? So I'm hearing yes. I'm hearing be open to the gifts that you're both exchanging. So remember, your guides and her guides are co creating, that there's more to the story. Um, so they are so uh, glad that y'all recognize the connection to have coffee. So um, they are showing me an image of holding hands, like two people holding hands, like you'll help each other. There's a friendship here. So um, is it short lived? Is it long lived? I don't know. That I can't tell yet. It is certainly destined for the moment, for sure. So you'll just have to tap back in and tell us how the coffee meeting goes. And if you see what the connection is, that would be fun to know and fun to share. And again, it's like, uh, it's just so hopeful, you know? Like, oh, I'm paying attention to the signs, to the patterns, to I bumped into this person twice. We must be meant to meet. You're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. Okay. This is fun. I heard a young girl in meditation. She asked me my name. Will she contact me again? I'm hearing yes. May contact you in a different way. So I'm glad you asked that question too, because the guys want to use that to say, we are all psychic, we are all intuitive, and sometimes what blocks things from coming through is because we're looking for them to come through in a certain way. And so the guides would say, be open to any and all messages and to any and all connections, however they show up. So she chose to meet you in a meditation. Um, she may choose to meet you some in another way, but I don't know. I'm not. But they're just saying, be open to that. Be open to that, and let yourself be surprised. This is a dance you're in with the universe and the unseen world, and there's so many divine beings that want to dance and participate in your journey. So, how lovely. Okay. Well, hang on here. Hi, Betsey. Might have covered this already. Very stressed with what's going on in the U.S. right now. Any thoughts from Spirit? Okay. Um, yeah, I did touch on that a little bit in the beginning, and I'll just say now the guides have encouraged you to look at things from a higher perspective, and that they will offer that higher perspective. They just said not at this time. And especially with what's going on in Texas right now, there is a higher perspective to hold. There's more information to understand, just not at this time. There's too much hurt, and the hurt is meant to be respected right now, if that makes sense. And so, if you're feeling that hurt too, just feel the hurt and see what it inspires in you. And yeah, and if you go back and listen to the beginning, um, they do touch on that. So thank you for asking. Yeah, yeah, we talk and your comment too that your guides have been saying the same thing. It's challenging to hold all the grief, and we talk about grief as a, for a lot of people, it's their fuel for their journey here, and it's a big one. It's a really big one. So, but yes, thank you for asking. Please go back and listen to the beginning, and then we can always touch on that more as time goes on. So, and next week, you guys, I am on vacation. I'm hoping though that I'll still take a little time out of the day um, and to meet you guys here. So I invite you to send your questions in if you have to my email address, which is in the body here of the channel. Otherwise, join me here and you can ask them here. So hang on one second. One more question. I met a Pleiadian, or so I think, in a meditation. I thought afterwards he was trying to speak to me. Can you pick up on this for me? Okay, sure. So, one thing that I'm hearing to tell you is to be with that energy, the energy that you might have picked up. And sometimes that is how they communicate, is through the essence that they bring, the energy that they bring. It's kind of like, was it last week? Someone could smell a honeysuckle. They were wanting to know if there was a message in the honeysuckle, but it was just the essence of the honeysuckle flower wanting to show itself and bring that message of honeysuckle. And so the Pleiadians, too, these divine beings, these alien beings, advanced beings, let's say, sometimes they just want to impart a feeling and an essence, and that's the message you're meant to take from it, and to understand that you are aligned with it. More importantly, is that you made this connection. There is alignment there, and so there is. They said it's not necessarily the message they bring to you, but it's what they evoke from you. And if you understand you can connect to the Pleiadians, then that says something about a vibration you have. And you might be being invited to live more in that state of Pleiadianness, let's just say, here on the planet, and know that that's something you offer. And how can you be in that more, if that makes sense. How cool. I love it. Okay, so you guys, I think we are good for today. So I should see you next week. If for some reason I'm not here, just remember I'm on vacation, but I'll be back the next week. And in the meantime, remember, hearts are getting touched all over the planet. And it's happening in all different kinds of ways, but hearts, love is being activated. Hearts are being touched. Let's just leave it at that, and be open to how we evolve this week. How about that? So I wish you a beautiful week of evolution. May it be peaceful and joyful and clear. How about that? Okay. All right, you guys, thank you so much for your questions and for joining, and I will see you soon.